Hey, this is Andy Masters, author and keynote speaker, and you're listening to The Speaking Show with David Newman.
Andy Masters, certified speaking professional. Welcome to the show.
Hey, great to be here, David.
Now, your website, we got to get this out of the way right here, right now. You bought a hyphen. So it's Andy-Masters. Do you call it a hyphen or a dash?
I call it a hyphen. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so Andy-Masters.com. There's Andy Masters. There's all kinds of other people. You're the guy with the hyphen, Andy-Masters.com. We'll get into more resources and how people can get connected and stay connected to you at the end. I have to congratulate you on buying the hyphen. That was like going above and beyond.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not that smart. It's actually because there's another Andy Masters literally in a different country that swiped AndyMasters.com before I got to it. This is, you're talking 12, 15 years ago.
He can be eliminated.
We'll take care of him, right?
We'll take care of that later. Exactly. Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, let's talk about speaker marketing and sales. One of your expertises is speaker marketing and sales. Before we get to that, though, you also have a fantastic background that got you really primed and situated for doing what you're doing today. It's like everyone's background makes perfect sense in hindsight. Mm-hmm. So give us a little bit of that professional journey of what brought you to the speaking world and where you are today.
Sure. I mean, you're right. Things happen for a reason. I didn't have any idea at the time that it would lead me to this, but certainly worked for a performance improvement company, employee loyalty programs, then went into kind of training and corporate service and so forth. And at that time, like many folks do, I went to grad school at night through tuition reimbursement programs and got a master's degree in marketing, but also human resources development on how to bring people along and, of course, develop them. So I jumped off on my own back in June 6th of 2003. And that's when you really learn how to get business and get clients because you have to make a living and make it happen. And but fortunately, with my marketing background, I think I was able to take some shortcuts and make my path a little quicker than some.
And today, your topics are really around leadership and sales and customer service, customer loyalty, correct?
That's right. How to market yourself as an entrepreneur. Certainly talk about leadership as well. And of course, touched on my Kiss Your Customer concept that I just loved and it's worked for me for a long time.
So we'll be doing some kissing on this show today. We'll be teaching some kissing. And everyone hang on to your lawsuits. Just relax. That's not what Andy means. This is audio, people. It's audio. All right, let's talk. And this is so vitally important. People need to rewind and listen to this like 3 times over. Would you please articulate in the sales process all the things that you do not do? Because I think so many speakers, consultants, executives, and entrepreneurs who want to get involved in speaking or are involved in speaking, they waste thousands of hours on content marketing or just social media monkey work or all kinds of crazy stuff. Straighten us out on this, Andy. What's going on?
Yes, and absolutely. I've got to give my disclaimer of there's 100 ways to do this. I'm saying what has worked for me and I believe really helps other people because you can get pulled in so many different directions. You have to stay laser-like focused. Bottom line is the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. You and the decision maker. That's how you have to make it straight. So here, things I don't do. You ready to shock people? I've been doing this for 15 years. I've never had a newsletter. I've never had a podcast. I've never had a blog. I didn't do Google Plus, Google Wave, Clout, MySpace. I hate Twitter. I post once a week because I have to. I stick a photo on there. I don't do Facebook really. I know you can. It can be viable for me. I just put on pictures of my kids. I don't write tons of articles and spend my time pushing those on LinkedIn and so forth so I can get 4 or 5 views and a couple of likes. I don't do any of those things, even webinars, teleseminars, and online trainings, you get it. And I don't lift a finger to get TV, radio, PR, media exposure. Those are all the things I don't do.
So let's talk about the few central pivotal things that you spend 90% of your time on.
That's right. Because as I'm rattling that off, people are saying, okay, what the hell do you do? Okay, do you sit there all day and sit on the couch? No. There's a couple of things that I do that, first of all, is very clear to me. First of all, you have to understand who are the decision makers who have the budget to hire you or book you for the exact thing that you present on or that you provide to those people on the topics that you present or the services that you provide. So therefore, who are those people? We have to identify who those are first. That's it. Then we have to identify how to contact them, get their contact information, communicate with them, ultimately build a relationship with them, and build a business working alongside them as partners. That is what you have to have laser-like focus on to do.
So really it's, there's a cliche, I guess, about sales as a contact sport, that you got to be in it. You got to be contact with buyers daily, right? Is that your goal? Is that some kind of warm connection, door opening, progress making step that brings you one step closer to a check with an economic buyer 3, 4, 5 times a day, 5 days a week, rain or shine, happy or sad, feel like it or not?
That's the way you should do it. I mean, firstly, because sometimes we're actually doing what we sell, believe it or not. So I might be on stage or on a plane or something like that. But therefore, I will certainly load up with, hey, this one day, the entire day, I'm talking 8 hours. I'm not talking about anything else. I might go to the bathroom once or twice. It's laser-like focus, okay, on all the people I can need to contact, follow up with, and have a reason to follow up with, giving them something of value or maybe a testimonial of somewhere I just presented at that they might care about. But you're right. You have to stay in touch with them. Otherwise, as great as you think you are, and you might be wonderful and fantastic, they have jobs. They have a wife and kids and a husband and all these dogs and cats and grocery shopping. They will forget about you if you don't stay in contact with them and give them a reason to stay in contact with you.
Now, these days, buyers can be hard to reach, right? Because typically they don't answer their phone. They get 500 emails a day. They're just kind of crazy busy. Their hair's on fire. You've got some fairly brilliant strategies of punching through the noise and getting their attention with relevance, with value. What would you say for, let's say, for an association executive or conference producer, meeting planner, what are some key Andy-isms to help us get in the door?
Well, there's certainly a lot of ways to contact these people, and I can touch on a couple of these. Number one, I always believe in my head, it's how to make a cold email warm, okay? I'm not a big believer in spam for one, because of spam controls. It's automatically going in their spam box. They never see it, okay? Personal emails with the right wording can get past it, but also something that is warm, not, hey, by the way, here's what I do. I'm out of the blue. No, specifically, why are you contacting them? Oh, you mean they organize programs for dentists or they work with journalists, whatever it might be. Here is a specific reason of why. I just wrote this for dentists and was published in this magazine. I just was the keynote speaker last week at this dentist conference and have a wonderful testimonial I just wanted to share with you. So specifically for them in their state and their industry, why do they care about reading past the first line and a half of your email? That's really important. And then just briefly, you can direct mail to them. You can do the 10,000 thing, or you can do 10. Who are 10 target people you specifically want to mail to? Send them a personalized article, a book that's autographed to them. Then 7-10 days later, follow up with them. So we've got to find a way, I think, in this crazy mass media, social media world, to still make it personalized, where it's a personal reach out from you to a person that you care about greatly, and they might not even know about it yet.
Andy, so valuable. I just wrote down something, and feel free to borrow this if it's useful to you. The way I would summarize that is it's the magic of small numbers. Oh, no, we got there's 10,000 associations. I'm going to hit them. I'm going to spray them. I'm going to spam them. It's like, how about 10? Hand-selected, highly relevant, relationship-driven outreach, asking them how you can help them, how you can help their members, how you can serve their next meeting with specificity and value. That, I think, is that your genius, that when you teach this, that just jumped out at me as the magic of small numbers, right? Don't try and hit 1,000, try and serve 10. Try and help 10. People go, we use adversarial language, right? We use like war language, targets. We got targets and we got to hit them and we got to get them. And even online, we use words like tripwire. Tripwire set off landmines. What, are you kidding me? Well, I think we have to lose this adversarial mindset and really look at how can we help, how can we serve, how can we be more useful to our prospects, because that's what's going to punch through the noise. Am I right?
That's exactly right, because again, it's noise. You mentioned how many times they get emails during the day, how many social media, just impressions that are coming across their eyeballs every single day. And so we know we're not stupid. David, you and I aren't stupid, right?
I don't think so.
And so we know when there's a spam coming in. We know that this was a mass generated email that got sprayed all over the place. And sometimes it's just as basic as including their name in the subject line and specifically something about them. Your fall leadership conference instead of, hey, I'm a speaker trainer. Okay. Know something about their conference, what their biggest challenges are of their people to tell them, hey, I know about your industry and here's how I can help them and make it a win-win situation, of course.
I think that what you're also talking about is really humanizing your marketing, where, if you treat them like a number, guess what? They're going to treat you like a number or a vendor, or, they're going to kind of hold you like a rat by the tail and kind of just put you out there like, can someone deal with this?
Yeah.
If we humanize it, though, I think because so many speakers and consultants and even sales pros, they're lazy and they will send that boilerplate message. They will leave that boilerplate voicemail. And within 3 seconds, we go beep, beep, delete, 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 delete. Let me get back to my day. Someone sends you something personal, relevant, and customized to your situation or your stakeholders, you're at least going to pay attention. You're at least going to give that person the credit for having done their homework, right?
And something that when you look at the email copy that I send, that surprises some people because we think it's a professional communication and so forth. If you take just the extra few seconds in personalized emails to say in the first line, it's like, by the way, I was just in St. Louis last week. Love the renovation they did for the St. Louis Arch. Hey, by the way, blah, 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 blah. Immediately, like, okay, well, wow, okay, they personalized to St. Louis. They just send it to a million people. They know what I do. They were just here last week or so forth. And it might take you an extra 15 seconds in 5, 10, 20, 15 emails to just that quick little touch to let them know this wasn't a mass spam. It's me sending you an email. So just even the common courtesy of just them shooting back very quickly at you will increase dramatically because they think it's just you're sending that one person an email.
Right. Absolutely right. One question that I get a lot, and I'm sure you do too, do we start marketing and opening doors with associations, or do we start marketing and opening doors with companies? What's your take on that, and how do you see that equation?
Well, since we're both marketers here, first we have to probably take a step back and say, who was my target going to be based on what I provide, the service I provide, and the needs of those people? It might be attorneys, it could be Fortune 500 companies, it could be associations. So absolutely probably need to take a step back and evaluate that. With that being said, I'm a big fan of associations. There are associations for everything and then more than what you thought was even possible. It is crazy. It's unbelievable. It's hilarious. I call it the ABCs. So if you literally go to NACE on Google, there's National Association of Career Executives. There's National Association of Catering Executives. It's incredible. So therefore, their information is out there, easy for us to reach. It's on public domains. You can scroll down, see who is literally in charge of the association. There's their phone number. There's their email address. There's their mailing address right there in front of us. It is so much easier. And you can now get visibility and find the right association that is filled with 50 or 100 or 1,000 dentists, dental hygienists, journalists, broadcast, whatever it is that you want to target. You can go in through the association to get in front of these people. Absolutely. It's a great way, I think, to get into the corporate if that's the industry you're targeting.
So I think I heard you say when I recently saw you present that, I am in front of both associations and companies, but I go to the associations because that's where the companies are.
You betcha. And, we can send direct email and direct mail and knock on doors and so forth in a company or a corporation. You can do that. Boy, but when they see you and can trust you in front of a conference and understand your expertise and how you can help, wow, here's my business card. Or, wow, we really need help with this at our company. I'm going to tell my VP of HR. Wait a second. What if I am the VP of HR because it was a SHRM event and so forth? So the best ways for them to get exposure is instead of you, spilling out to them, what if they were able to see you first? And then you can gain that trust and expertise with them. And that makes the walls come down greatly. And go to their association. It's a great door to get in. With almost every industry that's out there, there's an association for it.
Now, you also, in your core content, you've got, among your other programs, there's leadership lessons from Hollywood. Yes?
That is right.
And so I know that another strategy to increase relevance is you don't pitch that program title to every single association or every single industry. You do something really smart with your leadership lessons from Hollywood program. Let's share that tip with people.
people have to believe that your program or your book or your service is just for them. My goodness. If I wrote a book, and I'm completely making this up on the spot, if I wrote a book about gardening, hey, David, you want my book about gardening? I've just thought about gardening, but no. But if I said, David, if I wrote a book on 101 best gardening tips for people who are also busy marketers that live in Philadelphia and want to grow the best tomatoes in the world, and you're sitting there thinking, how did this guy know? Where do I buy it? How much is it? Okay, so therefore, how can we specifically personalize the programs instead of, I could have a program called leadership. Okay, great leadership. How about leadership for the busy travel professional, or human resources leadership lessons from Hollywood, healthcare leadership lessons from Hollywood. And within that description, there are specific challenges in each one of those industries that I can solve, by the way, through the use of license protected movie scenes such as The Devil Wears Prada and Star Wars. So now all of a sudden, hey, it's fun, it's entertaining, but it's not, no, this is specific. No, seriously, read this description. This is for us. This guy, we got to get him in here. So how can you take one topic and customize it? Maybe it's the 80-20 rule, customize the content, customize the description, and even customize the title so that people say, oh my gosh, this is for us. Where did this guy come from? That's what you want them to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another strategy that is important to tell people is we sometimes, when you say customize the content, we might customize the language. So for example, a law firm has clients, but a retailer has customers.
Yes.
And when you talk about customers in front of a group that has clients, there's a disconnect. They go, wait a second, this isn't our guy. If you go vice versa, a company that has customers, but you start using the word client, they're like, wait a second, we don't have clients, right? Yep. Law firm is a firm. Accounting firm is a firm. A tech company is a company. Are you using the word company or the word firm? Mm-hmm. It's things like this that if you dial it in the right way, like the way you do it, I'm sure people come up to you and say, Andy, man, we're here at the insurance conference. Dude, how long have you sold insurance for?
Exactly.
How long have you been in the car detailing business?
Right.
And you say, I haven't been in the business a day in my life, but I customized the program for you.
That's the greatest comment I get after the program. And I joke that I have literally 6 niches. The client customer thing is important. Before I go on stage at any one of those events, I specifically ask, hey, I just want to be sure, because some people call them client. And so what is the specific lingo? Because I don't want to look like an idiot in the first 5 seconds. You know what you said before on HR, travel and hospitality, and so forth. You betcha. We have to not make this a gimmick. Okay, you got to be real about it, because people kind of joke, well, HR, you can just stick that label in there, and engineering too. Well, all of a sudden, people can sniff you out. And that would be the negative reverse that you want. So just quickly, and I just want to let people know, he puts HR on top of his leadership program and he sells it to those guys. Well, I have a master's degree in HR development. I've presented as a keynote for over 50 SHRM conferences. I've been in all their magazines and specifically share on how HR can solve the succession planning crisis through developing and cultivating their workforce. So that's not a gimmick. You got to really deliver the goods specifically for who you're targeting.
And there's speakers that abuse this, and it's, you customized the title page. Mm-hmm. No, we didn't customize the title page. We are bringing to bear all of our experience, all of our expertise, client research, industry research, our personal experiences. And so you can tell, they can tell when a speaker or a consultant has just customized the title page and that person's never going to be invited back, versus someone who really does their homework and delivers a home run program based on that customization and tailoring process.
That's right.
Hey, this interview is a real moneymaker. If you're serious about ramping up your reach and revenue as a speaker, trainer, or expert, book a confidential speaker strategy call with our team. The link is doitmarketing.com/call. It will be the most valuable 45 minutes you invest in your speaking-driven business. Speaking of value, let's get back to the show. So let's talk about yet another fantastic thing that you do, which is when you are looking to get into an association, there is a specific person in that association leadership who is neglected, doesn't get a lot of email, doesn't get a lot of calls, and kind of looking forward to being important someday. Let's talk about that strategy, because that's pure genius.
Do you really want me to come on here and give away all my secrets, David? Is that what you're trying to do?
Just the good ones. Just the good ones.
It's not for $197, Okay, so
This podcast is 1,000% free.
Yes. So the people asking, okay, great. Who do you contact? The good news is that, again, for associations, and by the way, also education, city governments, so many public domains, you can actually look and see who's in charge or hire a VA to go do that for you and get a list going. So therefore, the titles of people, certainly the easiest one is a VP or director of meetings or events if you're trying to get in front of them for speaking services. There's the executive director, basically the head honcho of a nonprofit association. Depending on the size, you got to, target the right person. If it's too large, you're shooting too high for going to the executive director. So then there's this, director of education programs, professional development. Great. Now the secret sauce, I think, is what you're looking for is, because a lot of people do actually tackle this. This isn't rocket science. I didn't invent this stuff. The people who build a better mousetrap and so forth can do well. Now, with many of these associations, like ours, the National Speakers Association, every year there's turnover on the volunteer board. So the president-elect, the committee chair, and so forth, every year that turns, which makes it, by the way, a pain in the butt to get the right person. And so if you can find the person that's specifically in charge of the conference committee, the programs chair, the speaker committee, and certainly even the president or president-elect coming in, you now have a heads up because they're not the static person that everybody's contacting those. And then for my secret sauce, I guess you're making me give it away. My favorite person to contact out of that entire group I just rattled off, believe it or not, is the president-elect. And here's a couple reasons why. Number one, their events this year, you're already standing in 2018. They're probably already planned for this year. The president's in charge. They're running it. So who's in charge next year? The current president-elect or the president who's going to be the president next year? Okay? So they're going to be in charge. Two other things about the president-elect. Number one, websites on nonprofit organizations are sometimes outdated. So sometimes the president-elect actually is the president. They're your best contact. But most importantly, I love the fact that no one else is really contacting this person. They're going after the meeting planners and so forth, or maybe the president. And the president-elect may not know anything about speaking. They've just come in and they've say, what do I do? I have a role next year. They're probably not doing anything as a president-elect yet, frankly. And then boom. Oh my goodness, hey, to plan ahead on next year's event, by the way, I've also presented this industry too. Would love to start that conversation. They might not even know how to even go about booking a speaker, but I'll be very honored to help walk them through that process if they need some assistance with that. So I love getting in with that president-elect. No one else has contacted them, and they're probably the person that's going to be in charge of the event next year anyway.
Yeah, very, very nice. Well, I want to talk about two more quick things because you're just so good at all of this, and we totally have to have you back. Let's talk about leverage. Leverage, and you are a king of leverage. This is one of your secret superpowers where, I look at it like fishing, right? You're on this fishing boat and you got a big one. And you reel them in and they're on the boat. And what we're not realizing is then, okay, now we go and we do all this other work to go get another big one in some other ocean, some other pond, some other lake. And you're like, hey, well, hang on, there's 49 more fish in the lake where you just were. So let's talk about fishing in the right lake with the right bait and how to use that leverage of the one fish to get 5 or 10 more.
Permission to be funny and ridiculous?
Totally.
Because I've never heard that before. So this, as far as the, catching one of those 49 other fish in the lake. So you can leverage that lure. If it was a chartreuse spinner lure and you catch one big fish on there, you can go to the other 49 fish in the lake and say, hey, this 5-pounder over here just loved this lure that I just funded. So would you like this lure too? You go ahead and stick it in your mouth, okay? So therefore, let's bring that back to association world, okay? Leverage is my favorite word in marketing. Getting one is good. But guess what? Getting one starts the real show. As soon as I get one contract, the signed contract comes over, the email comes in with a PDF, and I do my little happy dance, okay? Boom, we're off to the races. Because I ask myself something, and everyone should ask themselves this. Who cares that I just got booked here? I'm not going to be doing training for here. I'm going to be doing keynote speaking here. Who might care? Well, here's reality is most people don't care. My wife doesn't care. My dog doesn't care, whatever. Except, wait a second. Wouldn't people that have that exact same position at very similar associations or organizations actually care that, hey, I'm doing this for them too? Or what if it's in the same city? So therefore, we always have to immediately think, how can I let everyone else know who might care that I will also be speaking for this group? So if it is the Florida Association of Dental Hygienists, I can now send emails to quote unquote the other 49 states, but you can call that cold, but I call it, how do you make a cold email warm? Say, hey, Carol, you know what? I was also just named keynote speaker of the Florida Dental Hygienists Association for 2019. And I just thought I'd touch base with you as well. Will you be planning your event for 2019 as, so forth? And then maybe a couple other things. That is awesome. By the way, then you go speak for the Florida Dentist Hygienist Association. You rock the house. You get a testimonial. Then after the event, you again say to the other 49 states, you send an email, a contact them. You can call them, whatever you want to do. Stick a note in the pigeon's mouth. I don't care. Contact them and say, hey, just last week I was keynote speaker for the Florida Dental Hygienist Association. I know you're going to be planning your event for Wisconsin Dentist Association soon. Would certainly love to present for your event as well. By the way, here's a brief testimonial from Karen, who you might know. She was just wonderful to work with, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, instead of mass spam spray, it is, holy cow, hey, he actually just spoke for Florida. Looks like he rocked down there too. Is that going to automatically get you a booking? No. Will it get you at least in a relevant conversation of someone that they could seriously consider as a candidate? Yeah, it can. So always ask, who cares with every booking? And by the way, go backwards. I didn't say this in here. Go backwards in the last 12 months and look at all the places you presented at. How can you leverage every single one of those, especially the ones you did great at or have a wonderful testimonial for, and share that with the world? So don't just share it to the world, share it specifically with the people who might care that you just spoke there.
Targeted sharing. Have you ever gotten either asked or gotten the list of their 49 counterparts in the other states? Have you ever asked for that list? Like, let's say Bob at the Michigan Association of Chamber Professionals says, Andy, you totally rocked the house. Oh my gosh, all of my colleagues across the country need to hear this. Let me send you a quick download. Let me send you the Excel spreadsheet. Here's the other 49. I'm going to write you a testimonial letter. Feel free to share it with them. Anyone that wants to talk to me about your program, I would love to tee you up. Does that happen, or do you have to ask for that, or how might that work?
Okay, so a little more scoop, because I have an interesting take on this. Okay, I have a take that says never ask for more than one favor. Okay, at that time. So let's say I get done and walk off the stage and I say, hey, David, can I have an awesome testimonial? Hey, can you also refer me to 3 people? Hey, do you have a list of 250 other people in an Excel spreadsheet? By the way, actually a CSV file would actually work better for me. And so going on, I think people are very willing to do a very simple gesture for you. Now, I actually will on occasion err on the side of maybe there's a specific event or a specific person I really, I'm not going to ask them for testimonial then, believe it or not. I'll say, if there's any way, that'd be super. If you could just CC me in an email, it'd be fan. You would be my hero of all time. That's it, one favor. So I know some people do ask for the 50 list. To me, the 50 list was already on the website anyway. So I'm okay with that. You want to ask for it, great. But in my book, ask for one favor, the favor that you need. Usually it's just a testimonial. Sometimes it's a very specific or important referral that I'd like to get from them. That's my take.
You tip your hand and you say, may I share this with other state associations, or do you not worry about that?
I don't worry about it, but I think I do put in their ear, like, wow, this is great. Wisconsin. Actually, I spoke in Texas too. I would love to do more of these. So, hey, I'll send you a follow-up in the next few days, and don't sweat it. But just to ask if any positive comments you might have would be just fantastic. So, hey, thanks so much again, blah, blah, blah. So, I put a little bug in the air because they might, trust me, if you're good enough, I think, they might on their own accord go on, they have their own listserv, Facebook group, or their own email blast and say, hey, we just had this speaker in, he was awesome, and go with it. And that's happened. But, I don't necessarily push them to do that personally.
I love what you're saying. So in the marketing and sales process, I call that the sale of the moment. The sale of the moment is what's that one thing that you're asking for right now? What's that one micro commitment? What's that one baby step? What's that one asset that you want? Don't ask for 5 things at once, right? So what's the saying? The hungry hog eats and the greedy hog gets slaughtered.
That's right. So you said sale of the moment, not sales of the moment.
That's correct. The sale of the moment, singular.
Yeah, so that's why I really do try to stick with one.
Sale of the moment. Okay, awesome. Now let's go to the other side. You've done the home run job, and now it's time to kiss your customer. Because the other part of your expertise is obviously customer service, customer experience, loving on them, staying top of mind, giving them a very special experience as a customer. How does that work in speaker land?
The high-level view, and just to put it in stone for folks, is kiss your customer why sales and service are just like dating and relationships. First, you got to find them. then you got to keep them happy. Okay. So the exact same things breed success in relationships. Honesty, trust, respect, doing those small, amazing things that make relationships happy and healthy. They are the exact same principles that lead to success with clients and customers as well. So therefore, this is truly when it gets personal. Okay. And this can be before an event or after an event, whichever, or maybe you just met someone. What is something that you can do, send them? It could be a funny picture, you email them, which is free. It could be something that I call 15 minutes or less, $15 or less. I mean, there's been, goodness, so many examples. There was one CEO that called me about doing a program. The program was supposed to be in Las Vegas, but he was going to be stopping by Orlando for a conference. And I live in Orlando. And so he didn't think anything of it. And he happened to mention he was going to be at the XYZ hotel and just in conversation. Well, guess what? I created, with the help of my wife, I'm giving her some credit here. I created basically an Easter type gift basket of a welcome to Orlando, a couple of little Disney things, of course, a copy of my book, a copy of both of my books, and some candy and so forth. And I went to that hotel, dropped it off at the front desk with a note for the incoming CEO. He emailed me, texted me, got my number, texted me saying, okay, wow, let's talk. And long story short, I want to be in the keynote speaker of that sales conference the following year. So is that going to work every time? No, but don't worry about it. I say this, and I have a concept called 15 minutes or less, $15 or less. Just 15 minutes of your time to do something neat, creative, personalized. Send them a funny gift that has to specifically do with them, whatever, or a nice gift. If you do that once a week, just once a week, 15 minutes for 52 weeks. And that could be, by the way, to friends, colleagues, certainly clients that you had from 5 years ago, upcoming prospects. Just pick one. If you do that for 52 weeks, you will be overwhelmed at the response that's going to go back to you and the good things that are going to happen back. Okay. So yeah, I believe this is a relationship. We talk about database and marketing and titles. It's a relationship business.
So we're talking about something more than a handwritten note, or not necessarily? Some kind of little gift or cartoon or something above and beyond a handwritten note, yes?
I believe anything is better than nothing. So handwritten note, I'm cool with. That's better than an email, okay? And a handwritten note with a interesting picture of Disneyland, because, hey, I know you guys are coming to Disneyland. You got to make sure you go on this ride. And it's a postcard with that ride. Stick it in there. Great. The smallest things, you can keep going certainly up and up to nice gifts, but small little clever things. Maybe a little, put a smile on their face, a little chuckle, whatever it might be, but something that's personalized. I did once a personalized autograph of, I think they had their son's favorite baseball player. And I got just bought it on the internet for $29. Okay. I really wanted this client, and stuck in and say, hey, by the way, I heard your son's birthday is going to be coming up. Autograph, little picture of that player went in with the card. And he's telling me, that didn't blow them away. And it did. Again, I don't have time to do, I'm not concerned to lie to everyone. I don't do that every time. And I can't probably do it every time. But the more you can be creative, the more you can catch people off guard, because your competition are people that are just sending out emails or leaving the same voicemail over and over. So how can you be different and step away and personalize it to something that's going to put a smile on their face? Absolutely.
Totally fantastic. I'm going to have two final questions for you, Andy. The final question is, how can people get connected and stay connected to your fabulous empire? But before I ask you that question, the second to last question, if people were to take one key concept away from our conversation today, what would you like that to be?
I believe in ROTI, return on time investment. And I'm not going to steal this quote. It's from Brian Tracy, a famous best-selling author and speaker. And he said, spend the most time possible on the highest income generating activities possible. Every single day you have yes, no decisions on what you spend your time on. So ask yourself, just stop yourself. It's 10:14. Stop yourself at what you're doing. What is the end result of that? What is the end service of that? You have to prioritize your time by the return on your time investment and what is it ultimately going to mean for you down the road. That means we have tough decisions to make. I did not say everything I don't do is bad. I just have to prioritize my time, because the shortest distance between 2 points is you and the decision maker that can hire you to provide the service that you provide to them. So therefore, ROTI every single day as an entrepreneur.
Awesome. And now after dropping that value bomb on people, how can folks that are listening get connected and stay connected to your empire?
Yeah, you gave it away in the beginning with the hyphens. So it's simply, my website is www.andy-masters.com. And certainly drop me a line on, you pop me in on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter as well. Twitter is at Andy_Masters. Masters is that one. So at Andy_Masters. So yeah, website, social media, drop me a line. I'm always happy to wrap in this crazy business. You can't have enough friends out there.
Well, that wraps up another episode of The Speaking Show. Hey, tell you what, if you like us, rate us and review us on iTunes. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Go grab the notes and downloads and extras at thespeakingshow.com. See you next time.